You are 30 years old, and you are the oldest person you know. Your teeth are worn down flat. Your back aches when the weather turns. The children in your camp already call you the old one. It is 10,000 years ago, and according to every fact you have ever heard about the past, you should already be dead. But here is the thing. Almost everything you have heard about how long ancient humans lived is wrong. So what actually happened when they got old? The answer is stranger and kinder than you think. Let's start with the famous number. You have probably heard it your whole life. In the Stone Age, people only lived to 30. That number is technically true, and it is completely misleading because life expectancy is an average, and averages can lie. Picture two babies born in the same camp on the same night. One of them dies before her first birthday. The other lives to be 59. Add them together, divide by 2. Life expectancy? 30. Nobody in that camp actually died at 30. The number is not describing dying adults. It is hiding dead children. Childhood back then was a minefield. Fevers, infections, hunger, accidents. Almost half of all children never made it to 15. Their short lives dragged the whole average down. But here is what the average hides. If you survived childhood, you had a real chance of reaching your 50s, your 60s, sometimes your 70s. There were grandmothers around the fire. There were gray beards telling stories. Old people are not a modern invention, but getting old back then did not look like it does now. It started much, much earlier. In the ancient world, you grew up fast. Not because you wanted to, because everything around you demanded it. By 7, you worked. By 13, you were treated as an adult. Many people became parents while they were still teenagers, which means the math gets strange. If your daughter has a child at 15 and her daughter does the same, you can hold your first grandchild at 30. A 30-year-old grandmother, not because life was short, because life started early. Everything in life happened sooner. First hunt, first child, first gray hair. The whole story of a human life compressed into fewer pages, and the body paid for that speed. Because here is what being old actually felt like. 10,000 years ago, your teeth were the first thing to go. Not from sugar. There was no sugar. From grit. Stone-ground food carried tiny pieces of rock in every bite. Year after year, it sanded your teeth down like wood. By 40, many people were chewing with flat stumps. Some had no teeth left at all. Your joints went next. Knees, hips, spines, worn smooth from decades of walking, carrying, digging. Your eyes faded, and there were no glasses. Your ears dulled, and there was nothing to fix them. Almost every old skeleton we dig up carries old injuries, fractures that healed crooked, a lifetime written into the bone. An ancient body at 45 had taken more damage than most modern bodies take by 80. So here is the question that matters. An old person cannot hunt. They cannot fight. They eat food they did not gather. In a world where every meal was a struggle, why would anyone keep them alive? In a cave in Iraq, archaeologists found the answer. They dug up the skeleton of a man who died around 45. Old age for his time. And his body was a catalog of disasters. His arm was withered and useless. It had been amputated below the elbow. He was blind in one eye. His hearing was likely almost gone. His leg was so damaged he could barely walk. Here is the part that stops you. Those injuries were not fresh. They had healed. He lived for years, maybe decades, after his body broke. A man who could not hunt, could not gather, could not run when danger came. He survived because his people carried him, fed him, protected him, waited for him for years. And he is not the only one. In the mountains of Georgia, scientists found a skull that is almost 2 million years old. It belonged to an old man, and it has no teeth, not one. The sockets in his jawbone had closed up and smoothed over. That takes years, which means this man lived for years after losing every tooth in his head. Stop and picture that. A man who cannot chew in a world made of tough roots and raw meat. Every single meal he ate for years, someone else had to soften first. Mashed, crushed, maybe even chewed for him, mouthful by mouthful. 2 million years ago, before fire was common, before language as we know it. Somebody looked at a toothless old man and decided every day that he was worth feeding. That skull might be the oldest evidence of kindness we have ever found. These people were not abandoned. They were kept. Why? Because an old person was the most valuable thing a tribe could own. Think about what they knew. There is no writing, no books, no maps, no internet. Every single thing your people have ever learned lives inside someone's head, and the oldest head holds the most. The drought comes. The river dries up. Nobody under 50 has ever seen this before. Panic. But the old woman by the fire has. She saw it as a child, 60 years ago. She remembers the waterhole in the hills that never runs dry. She remembers which plants survive without rain. Her memory is the difference between a hard year and a dead tribe. Scientists even have a name for this idea, the grandmother effect. Human beings are one of the only animals on Earth that live long past the age of having children. Evolution kept our old people because tribes with grandmothers survived and tribes without them didn't. And memory was only half the job. Old hands were the teachers. Making a stone tool takes years to learn, and one wrong strike ruins the stone. So the old sat with the young, hour after hour, guiding small fingers through every move. The old settled the fights. When two hunters wanted the same kill, the voice that had seen 40 winners carried weight that no strong arm could argue with, and the old women delivered the babies. The most dangerous day in any ancient life for the mother and the child usually went better when the person in charge had seen 100 births before. The elders were the library. The elders were the teachers, the judges, the midwives. Losing one was like burning every book in town. So let's go back to you, 30 years old, 10,000 years ago. The old one, your back aches, your teeth are flat. You will never run down a deer again. But when the berries look wrong, they bring them to you. When the sky turns strange, they watch your face. When the children sit down at night, it is your voice they wait for. Every year you survive, you become more valuable, not less. That is the part we have backwards. Today, we treat getting old like a slow-losing game. We hide it. We dread it. We joke about it nervously at birthdays. We spend billions of dollars a year trying to look like we haven't survived. Our ancestors could not afford to think that way. To them, an old person was not a burden that survived too long. An old person was a victory, proof that the fevers, the winters, the wounds, the hungry years, all of it could be beaten. Getting old was not the sad ending of a life. It was the trophy. The next time you find a gray hair, remember what it would have meant around that fire. You made it. You know things now. Come sit closer. The children are waiting for the story.